Hello, friends. Let me give you an update of where we are with Shepherd's Fold, and I need some help and guidance to help take the next step. This year, for all donors of Shepherd's Fold Ministry, I'm giving them this gift. It's a coin by Scott Stearman, and it's called The Calling. You see Peter calling Simon Peter, leave your nets, follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. And this coin has the answer that those of us who feel like we're called by God to become fishers of men is this answer. My life is my answer. Okay, so my whole life is my answer. I will quit ministering when I have no longer any air in my lungs. Until then, my whole life is my answer. The way I live my life is an answer to this calling. The things I say, the things I do. There is no age limit to my answer to feeling called by God to reach out into the world to share his message. So I've learned this in my work with ministers, that a calling to ministry, my life is my answer. And so I've learned to not use the word retire. Um, because it's not like retiring from Xerox or the Acme company or any other company in which when you leave the place, you've worked there for 30 years, they give you a gold watch and you walk off, they never call you again. They never get in touch with you. It would be inappropriate to go back to that place and to stay up on what's happening. But if my life is my answer to a calling, I feel like I should continue to impact the world through Christ for Christ. So that never ends. One of the things we've learned is that Americans spend 22 years, about 8,000 days, in retirement status. That is a long time that can be used to make a difference for Christ and his kingdom. And that's a long time for someone to live with the knowledge that my life is my answer, and then there's no place to do any kind of ministry. There's no recognition for that. There's no way other than to just feel like you're put up on a shelf. So these are some things that I've learned about ministers age 65 and older. Therefore, anything that I can do through Shepherd's Fold that offers people two things. One is the chance to improve their well being of life, if their life is their answer. Anything we can do to improve their well being, their optimism, the way they feel toward the Lord, toward others, and hope impacts this ministry calling. Secondly, if there are creative ways we can find for them to serve others. In other words, you don't have to be standing behind a pulpit preaching in order to fulfill a ministry calling. Okay, so that's a little bit about where I'm coming from and what I've learned as I've researched and studied ministers age 65 and older. You might remember that we did a comprehensive research project. We commissioned it through Lifeway Research, $36,500 research project, extremely well done, in which through them we measured 2,451 participants, measured four things: the financial, spiritual, social, and physical well-being, and got an individual well-being score for each participant. Then asked 161 questions that had to do with those four areas: finance, health, um, financial health, physical health, social, and spiritual. At 161 that talked about those, and then we found out among those there's a 433 page study results. We found that there were 9 issues, qualitative issues, that impacted the well-being of ministers age 65 and older. Qualitative. In other words, we're not saying that most people who, for example, one of them was, if you look back on your ministry days and you feel betrayed, 8% said they do feel betrayed. 92% said they don't. Okay, well, so that's only 8%. However, we learned this: the average well-being score of that 8% was very poor. The average well-being score of the 92% was very good. So if there's any hint of looking back on my days in ministry and feeling betrayed and nurturing those thoughts, if we can get away toward that, I'm saying through Shepherd's Fold that I believe a well-being of that person will improve. So I'll explain more of that and demonstrate that here in a minute. So what I've put together is a dashboard of these 9 issues, a test that you can take in order to find a dashboard for you where you stand based on the average well-being score of everyone who took the test who has similar answers. So the dashboard will give you your own individual score. The scores, nine scores. And what I've learned, and just given to a few ministers, is privacy is important. If they answer it in front of friends or with other friends, they tend to try to make themselves look good. And so what you're going to see a computer program that we're building in which people can take the test. I am not building into that computer program the chance to go back and see the cumulative answers. In other words, if you take the test, it's strictly your answers, and I'm not keeping tabs of it. So there is privacy that we're offering. So I'm offering this test both in written and computer form. Soon we will have an app as well in which you can take the test. I'll go over that test with you here in just a few moments. So 9 issues that come out in a dashboard. You can find out which of these 9 issues pose the greatest risk for you, or let's say the greatest opportunity. One of the things that we can say to people here is, look, if you can do one thing and know that it would improve your well-being and therefore your overall ministry impact in life, would you do it? Well, we can help point you to what needs the most work to help you move to a higher level of well-being and therefore greater impact for God and His kingdom. So, once you have your dashboard complete, I'm going to then there are links to help you with any of those 9 issues. I have 6 action steps that are repeated in some of the different 9 issues. But for all of these 6 action steps, we offer resources and links to help you. For example, the one for finances, that shows up in 2 or 3 of these issues right here. Well, I have a link to live out a proven financial plan. So I have links there to Dave Ramsey or Crown Ministry and Ron Blue and a few others that you can go. If you find you need help in one of these 9 areas, I have steps that correlate to that and resources to help you improve in that area. Serving those right in front of you is the most unique of these 6. And it's the most unique because I have, as far as I know, Shepherd's Fold is the only one who offers this so far, lists and resources to over 35 ways to serve those right in front of you today. Now, you can find these through a list itself or through your spiritual gifts or your personality types. So that's an overall explanation. Now, let me demonstrate it through this computer program that we're having built. So this is in the building stages here, so we're still working on improving it like we want it. Again, I have this in written form as well. So you just answer these 9 questions. Does the word rewarded describe your feelings toward the church or mission field in which you served? And you can choose yes or no. Let's say they said yes. Does the word betrayed describe your feelings toward the church or mission field in which you served? Let's say yes. I am active and healthy. Yes. Would help with, again, this is Brother John Doe who's taking this test. Would help with your finances improve your overall well-being? Well, yeah, that would help. I have physical disabilities that limit my ability to get out and interact with others. Let's say John's answer is no. I have continued to make friends in recent years. Somewhat disagree, let's say, for Brother John Doe. Satisfaction with your ministry efforts before retirement, somewhat, let's say. Confidence that you and your spouse will have enough money to live comfortably throughout your retirement years. Let's say John Doe says not too confident. I often feel lonely or isolated. This is the last question. Let's say somewhat disagree. Okay, so then you submit your answers, And then it brings up I just scrolled to the top here, a report card. This report card takes your answers from our test and graphs each answer on a well-being dashboard. Each dashboard charts the average well-being score among the research participants who shared your answer. Okay, so everyone who answered the same as you'll see it on this dashboard. The well-being dashboard charts strong, mid-range, or danger zones. Each answer has a link, I told you that earlier, to a resource page to help you improve in that area. Start with the issue for which you scored the highest red level answer. Even small areas of improvement in these most important areas can make a big difference in your overall well-being. Now this needs to be bigger and stronger, but this is an example of a dashboard in which things are cool, like an engine is running cool and strong. Blue, strong well-being. Yellow, mid-range well-being. Red, danger zone. Okay, so now we're going to look at John Doe's dashboards. Does the word rewarded describe your feelings toward the church or mission field in which you served? John Doe said yes. Everyone who said yes in the research project, 12 denominations, over 2,400 participants, of those who said yes, they averaged right here on the graph. So see, I've made it part of a graph instead of giving you a number that may or may not make any sense to you. So I put it on a graph. So you look at that and say, okay, so I answered yes. That's an answer that has me in a great category. I don't have to change much in order to be in a high well-being. I don't need to give attention to that. Does the word betrayed describe your feelings toward the church and mission field in which you serve? If you answered, John Doe answered yes. Everyone who answered yes, I told you it was 8%, but everyone of those 8%, they averaged right here in their well-being. So then John Doe continues on. I'm active and healthy. He said yes. Everyone who said yes in the study scored in this part of the average well-being. Would help with Here we go. Yeah, would help with finances, improve your overall well-being. He said would help. Okay, that's G. It's mid-range. There's some room for improvement, but it's not in a danger zone. I have physical disabilities that limit my ability to get out and interact with others. John Doe said no. All those who said no had a strong well-being score. I've continued to make friends in recent years. He said somewhat disagree. That's K, column K, in the red zone. Okay, needs some work. Satisfaction with your ministry efforts before retirement. Somewhat satisfied. Not very good. It's almost almost in the red. Some improvement could help with that. Confidence that you and your spouse will have enough money to live comfortably throughout your retirement years. He said not too confident. Column K, red level. Often feel lonely or isolated. He said somewhat disagree. Everyone who said that averaged this on their well-being score. Now, so here's how I would teach it. Going back to the top, I would say start with the issue for which you have the highest red level answer. So let's see what John Doe had. He had one M, one K, another K. So I would work on the M and the two Ks in particular. So the M, that's the one he needs to work on this. Does the word betrayed describe your feelings toward the church or mission field in which you serve? So I'm going to make the case that if John Doe can work on feeling less betrayed and not nurture those thoughts and work on, if we can give him action steps to move his mind away from this, I believe his overall well-being, the research supports, will begin to move down. Overall, for his whole well-being, will begin to move down. So then we click this link and say, okay, John, we want you to, if you want to work on this, let's take you to the page, shepherdsfoldministries.com/betrayed. And this page will come up. It's going to take just a moment because my computer's running a little bit slow with having the survey on it as well. So and then we have a page like this for each of the 9, right? Okay, so each of these 9 that we have over here, I have a page that you can click to. So for each of them, let's look at betrayed. I have a video that explains that. So here's where I explain the 92% average here, the 8% averaged here. It's about a 5-minute video, or 7.5 minute. I don't know if you can hear through this video that I'm making, the video that I made. I begin by talking about the overall research for each one. I explain how the question came and the number of people who answered in each way. And then I give suggestions, action steps that you can take to improve in that area. Those action steps, we have links to those right here. So I told you we have a total of 6. Well, I suggest 4 of those 6 right here for that have to do with this topic of feeling betrayed. What can you do to overcome that feeling of being betrayed? Well, one thing I said was to cultivate friendships beyond your ministry assignment. The idea here is to make your world bigger so that there are more things going on in your life socially than just those who are part of your ministry assignment. Therefore, you'll feel less betrayed. The next is to pour peace on um, your existing relationships, family and ministry assignment. So you really don't choose your family, you don't choose those who are part of your ministry assignment, but you can pour peace on that, and I believe that will impact the well-being of a person who's struggling with feeling betrayed. Another is to share God stories. The idea behind that is to share these stories, and that gives focus to God and His work instead of the cost that I paid by ministering and the people who betrayed me. The next is to serve um, those right in front of you today. And my idea for this, if people are feeling betrayed for what's happened in the past, is do something now. In other words, the ministry didn't end back then, and so the story isn't fully written yet of my life of what God can do to impact others through me. So get out and serve others. That should impact and help the feelings that people may carry of being betrayed. Now, as I said, these are 4 of the 6. You can go through any one of these and click on any of one of those, and those will go to a page. So Cultivate have a video here to explain, just a 1-minute video to explain what I'm talking about. And I think I just have that same slide up for the whole one. And I explain what I'm talking about, how what I mean by cultivate friendships is to go get them, take initiative. That's difficult for some ministers to do, and to keep up with them. So how do you do that? Well, I have some resources here. Here's a great article I like. I hired a friend coach to help me make friends. Here's what happened. So you can go to this article where this lady talks about she was a leader of a sorority when she was in college. She was just a friend-making machine, she said. But then, see, I was a friend-making machine. But then when we get off of that, how do I do that? Um, and then go down, and so she hired a friendship coach in her adult years, and she learned these lessons. Number 1, tap into your friends network. Number 2, she learned this: put down the phone and make conversation with people in public. Number 3, find a group and go 3 times. I mean, just practical stuff. So I have several articles like that. I also have some TED Talks of people talking about how to make friends in your adult years, because it's not as easy as when you were a kid. One of them says, um, well, you say to another 5-year-old, if you're a 5-year-old, do you like grass? Yeah, okay, let's go play in the grass. And you all are all of a sudden best friends. Well, that's tough to do. So TED Talks, I have a sermon there, scriptures. Anyway, resources to help you if you want to work on that action step. Okay. Same thing for Poor Peace. Resources to help you in that way. American Association of Christian Counselors, Les and Leslie Parrott. If you click that, it will take you to the one that is really interesting here, because this is how to deal with your existing relationships. And so here are, if you need help with conflict resolution, they have these 2-minute videos that give you how much truth is too much. One day, anything from communication to conflict resolution to health, on and on, especially for marriages. That is what that's talking about. But anyway, if you need resources, here's another. If you need find a Christian counselor to help you with some of your, um, you can get help in finding ones who are members of the Focus on the Family Association. Same with the American Association of Christian Counselors. The Legacy Organizer, you may be aware of this, that we offer a free electronic version of this. And so a family tree, how to have a family meeting was one of these. See if I can find that. How to conduct a family meeting. So how to deal with your family. All that's right here. And I give the page numbers that you can use to find that. See right there. There's a course. Here's a scripture. Okay, so let me just go through these others. Share God stories. For here, I have a video that explains that. I have several resources about how to share your God stories. I have a this is pretty interesting, I think, interview I did with Dr. Scott Daniels. You can learn about why it's important to share God stories. Okay, so there are two others that I said. I told you there are 6 total um, action steps. Another is I told you about that one. Live out a financial plan, and I told you about connections I have there to places like um, Dave Ramsey Ministries and more. And then the other one is play like a kid at recess, and I have uh, articles to help you learn how to find a hobby, to get involved, to do something where you stay active and healthy. Remember that question, active and healthy? So that. Now, I want to come back to this one. Before I come back, let's put a pin in that. So, if you want to retake this test, you can retake the test. And again, we'll have this better. This is just the mock up on a non secure site. Feel free to log in. Just use Brent and then no password. But if you want to take the test again and change your answers, let's say 6 months from now you want to take the test and things have changed and you've gone through financial trouble or things are different. You've improved in the areas of your greatest weakness. You'll see the changes in the scores. So see, last time John Doe said he did feel rewarded. Well, that was level B. Now he doesn't feel rewarded. Well, that's level J. So then you click the link and go to that page to talk about that. So, okay. So I'm just saying that it can change according to each person has a different set of dashboards, and then you can find out what your individual scores are. Find out what needs help here. He needs a lot of help with this. I provide a link to that. On and on it goes. Okay. Okay. So now, let me conclude this video by talking about the serve because again, like I said earlier, I think that's the most unique thing that we offer in the way of all the others. We're like a hub, where we connect you to existing ministries. You go find counselors to help you with that. You go get in touch with Dave Ramsey for their financial plan. This is a little different, okay? We offer our own thing here. And let me explain this because I think it has some potential. I just don't know how to use it. The Godly Impact page. So shepherdsfoldministries.com/godly-impact if you want to look at that. God can use any person at any age, any time to make a godly impact on your world. Use the following ideas as ideas starters. So I have 3 sections: jobs, opportunity list, and opportunity search. So you can go to jobs and you think, I need something that pays. Okay, if you want something in the church or nonprofit world, you can go to Slingshot Ministry or churchstaffing.com, ministryjobs.com, this kind of thing. If you want marketplace, by that I mean not church related, Indeed.com, LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter, Simply Hired. You can even do a search. LinkedIn, you can do Christian Retirement Ministries, and it'll send you the latest job opportunities. There are places that hire older adults. These are AARP. Here's one called Retirement Ministry. This is a good one right here. Retirement Living offers all these helps. Workforce50.com and Jobs 4.0 and on and on and on. If you want a job. Now, let's say you don't want a job. I have 30 right now. They're 36. I said over 35. That was 36. So I'll keep working on it, but I'm still adding to it every as often as I can. Here are 36 things that you can do to make a difference for someone today. Okay, so each of them let's say help for shut-ins. So if you click that, um, help for shut-ins, run errands, deliver groceries, and more. Many people find themselves, well, I don't have, okay, that's just a self-explanatory one. Let me use another one here. Um, because the others of these have, let's say a business chaplain. Did you know that there are business chaplains? There are businesses that hire people to come in and take care of the overall health, someone that their people can talk to. Work as a chaplain for a business. Training exists and placement agencies help you. Here's an article about that. Here's another article. Here's Training Corporate Chaplains of America. So you're a retired minister and you want to do something, you can be hired by Xerox or the Acme company or whoever to be a chaplain. You go around once a week, say to the employees, I'm a confidential source. Is there anything I can pray with you about? Just want to bring care. You can get trained for that and you can do that. There are a list of places you can do that, or you can learn about that. There are a list of places that can help you find a job. Workplace chaplains is another one. Help you find, help, as it says here, employees are in places of brokenness, and some employers will pay to help them be a chaplain. Okay, so 36 different ways, and that list continues to grow, of ways that you can make a difference, have a godly impact today, serving those right in front of you. Now let's go back to this page right here, opportunities search. So we've talked about jobs and the list, and now you can do it according to search. So let's say you are really well connected with your spiritual gifts. If you don't know your spiritual gifts, you can click here or here and take you to an inventory in which you can take a spiritual gifts inventory test and learn what your spiritual gifts are. Then I have a list of the different spiritual gifts. If you have the gift of administration, that's the divine ability to organize multiple tasks and groups of people to accomplish those tasks. Okay, that's the gift of administration. God gives you that in order to use, not to hoard, but to use. I'll go ahead and list all of them right here. Then, if you say, okay, I want to do something, all I know is I have the gift of administration. I don't know what else I can do. So you look under gift of administration and do a search right here, and it brings up of those 36, and again, that's an expanding list. It gives you 3 pages here. I have 3 pages of different things you can do. If you have the gift of administration, you might be good at a short-term missions trip coordinator. So you look, say, what does that mean? Okay, so it has that there. Where do I go to learn how to do that? Well, you can go to this website right here. It teaches you how to be a short-term missions coordinator, and you can get training in that. All right, so all that's right there. You can learn about that. Now that was just one. There are other links on this short-term mission field trip coordinator. And then there are other ideas. A videographer, that's more important than ever for churches. English as a second language. Just a whole bunch of, a ghostwriter. If you have a preacher that's really good, can you help them put that into written form? Ghostwriter training, Ghostwriter's Digest. On and on, the pages here of, if you have the gift of administration and if that's all you know, I have different things you can do in order to make a difference for the kingdom today. You don't have to wait on anything. If you want training, it's available. Okay, so you can search according to your spiritual gifts. You can also search according to personality types. Let's say you're familiar with the Enneagram. Those 9 levels. So if you don't know what the Enneagram is, well, there it is right there. You can take the test yourself, learn what you are, and let's say you're, I don't know, a 9. I don't know them all as well, but let's say you're a 9. You can go up here and say, I'm a 9 on the Enneagram, and what can I do? So you go down to Personality Enneagram 9. Search. And it brings up all the opportunities of those 36. I know, as I said, I keep saying the same thing. We're going to keep expanding that. But here are things that you could do. A couple pages worth of things that you could do to make a difference for the kingdom. So all that goes back to this. This is my first slide that I gave you. My life is my answer. So I just gave you what I have right now. Um, Now, here's where I need help. um, it seems to me that the need is real. The need to help ministers age 65 and older. And honestly, the research that I did and that test that you saw, that can apply to ministers of all ages. So the need is real. 8,000 days is a long time for someone who has a lifelong calling, a lifelong answer to a calling, to not be doing anything or feel like they're put on the shelf. The need is real. I'm closing in fast on the bullseye. I just don't know how to shoot the arrow to hit the bullseye. I've been getting closer, 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 closer to the middle. What I showed you, I think, is pretty close. I just don't know how to use it. I don't know how to use it yet. What about twice a year having a recalibrate event with follow-up classes where you're making a big national event and we're going to podcast or webcast it, Facebook Live it, and we do a big event. People all over the country are watching online right now and doing this with you. However, your answers are individual, and now you feel like you're part of a group who's examining this, and you recalibrate or realign your life twice a year. You take the test and just see where you are and follow up. And maybe we have follow-up classes, or maybe they do it on their own. I don't know. I can go around and teach this. Yes, I need to do that. If a district wants to have me in to do a teaching session for ministers, again, of all ages, active or retired status. What about shepherding them? Set up a system whereby they check in with each other. We call on their birthday. We call and connect with them. Maybe they have a two-pronged approach. They help others and others check in on them. We could set that up so that they're receiving care. Someone in the world is calling them and checking in on them and praying with them. Joyce Williams, member of our board, is a natural at that and has done that, and I think it's been effective. What if I set up a system whereby we could do that for people throughout the nation? Here's what I've learned too. I set up a membership model that didn't seem to work very well, where individuals would pay $15, and I got that from the AARP type of idea. You pay $15, you get all these resources, you get a monthly newsletter. Um, that they didn't want to pay $15. Neither do they want to give me lots of, that's I'm skipping down to this one. Neither did they want to give me lots of information. I wanted their name, their um, denomination, which area of ministry, were they a missionary or preacher or staff or chaplain or on and on. I wanted to know all this stuff, and that became an obstacle. They don't like giving out their um, data other than maybe name and email address. I've learned that complex and lengthy information does not work well. This is a complex and lengthy presentation, I know. Thank you for hanging in there. But TED Talks, that kind of thing. Here's a 7-minute talk on finances, or here's the it gets muddied if it gets complex or lengthy when you're dealing with ministers age 65 and older. Word of mouth is unstoppable. When they get excited about something, you can't stop it. On the other hand, forms of advertising seem limited. So, is there a way I can put our eggs in this basket more? We'll do some of this, but help me do that more. I'm a tad wary of licensing through a denomination. At one time, and this idea really sounds good on paper. Like you would approach the Assemblies of God and say, "Here, I've got this program for $50,000 a year. You can run it through you. Use your letterhead. Use it you can. I'll tweak it for you however you want to. It will go through you. You're the hero. You get all the credit, but I'll give you all this information." Um, I haven't said no to it, but I'm wondering. All denominations seem to be suffering, seem to be scaling back. Why would they pay an extra $50,000 if most are in decline? And COVID has just accented that more than ever. Another word of advice that I've gotten is, do people even listen to stuff that comes out from their denomination? Um, I can think of one denomination that puts out so many things. It's just everything's diluted because they have a program for this and a program for that, and you really can't find those programs. They don't give emphasis to them. It just gets mired down. Or if you have a denomination that puts out stuff kind of in a C minus grade level, and then you throw in Shepherd's Fold stuff with it, that'll come off like a C minus. So do people even listen when it comes from a denomination? Some of them seem to follow their denomination no matter what and would be wary of anything outside their denomination. Others, it's a turnoff if it comes from their denomination. It's, oh yeah, here's another little thing from them. It's not going to be very good, or it's not going to be effective. They're not going to follow through, whatever. So when it comes to self-sustaining finances, I'm not sure that membership or licensing will be 100% foolproof. It might work, but I don't know. So that brings me to my final thought here, and that is about the financial self-sustaining ability of Shepherd's Fold Ministry to take this content and help it connect and make its biggest difference in our world today. A few things that encourage me. One is that I have seen a rise in people who care for, support, in particular, pastors. There are more people who contact me saying, what can we do to help pastors? COVID in particular has not only lifted the level of stress for ministers, but it's also the laity, the congregational members, see that and have begun to respond. How can we help our pastors? So I believe there'll be people who would give, donate, and help with fundraising and give toward a ministry that they can see is helping support ministers. So I've seen an increase in that. Um, I told you these two earlier. I'm wary, but yet haven't counted out paid individual memberships and denominational licensing. I am excited to consider things like this, building a database of names and email addresses. And I told you, I think, when I got started with the membership part, that I was asking too many questions. And so I've tried to increase my uh, database, and I've gone from 433 to 866 names in the database. And I've just gone online to reports of a conference or a district of a denomination, and it lists their retired ministers and gives their email address. I didn't even get their permission. I just added it to my list. And I've built it to 866 right now. But if we could build that up, what if we had a database of 10,000 or 5,000 or 3,000? I think that there would be advertising potential through there. I think that's a greater appeal to donors. If you say, look, you give $1 here, you're going to impact 3,000 people or 5,000 people. I think monthly newsletters can come out of that, for which you can sell advertising. And this can be email or written, or both. Okay. But if all I have is their name and email address, email would be probably the best way. Okay, next. I'm excited to consider monthly giving donors. Now, I attended a session through Mission Increase. Mission Increase is a charitable organization that helps charities, and it's for free. And I attended a webinar, and they talked about monthly donors where and the range is somewhere between $25 and $39 a month that you ask someone to give. Now, in some of those situations, you support Johnny, a child in a third world country, and you're supporting Johnny and his food or something like that. That's a little bit difficult to find. Is there just one pastor that you're supporting here through Shepherd's Fold? I can't quite figure that out. So I would want to present monthly updates. Another idea is annual fundraising events. An idea to do that is, what if we did it in September? September is early enough, is late enough in the calendar year that people are thinking about their year-end giving. It's also the month before Pastor Appreciation Month, which is October. This year I put together, if you go to shepherdsfoldpodcast.com, I put together several podcasts to talk about Pastor Appreciation Month. Got booming response from that. That's where I learned some of this stuff about word of mouth spreads so quickly. Um, what if we had a pastor appreciation bundle that you could buy in like if you give $1,000, we'll give your church to Shepherd's Fold. We give you church this bundle of a couple books and resources to help you with Pastor Appreciation Month. And what if we had a big annual event in September leading into October, and people got excited about Pastor Appreciation Month and gave in an annual event? I know I need to consider return on investment. If I give this dollar, what are you going to do with it? And how will it impact, in particular, the kingdom of God and strengthen pastors? And I need to collect stories. I had some one round of trying some coffee meetings. I received a few stories from that. I think more stories would come from the where do I have it here? Shepherding them to realize Brother John Doe was struggling with something, and someone called him and helped him, and God answered prayer for that person by providing connections that came as a result of God's work through Shepherd's Fold, that kind of thing. So stories about people who've improved in the well-being, and just did one little thing, found one little thing of improvement, and improved their overall well-being. They believed, and help can come back to the answer. My life is my answer to this calling that I've received. Okay, that's where I am. Thank you so much for watching this, and I'm on my way to an out-of-town trip, and then when I get back in mid-October, I'd like to meet and talk about this. I plan to have a, let me switch to my website here. I plan to have a focus group pretty soon that will take this test and get their feedback, um, and see what they think about it, both the written and this computer-based test. So we'll learn more about that. I think I have some good ideas. I just need help on taking them. The need is real. I've got some stuff. Help me take the next step, and let's see what can happen. Thanks again for watching this.